Hijab is nowhere written in the Quran. So all the women out there, if you want to become a Muslim and you're thinking, man, I'm going to have to cover my hair. You don't have to cover your hair. The Quran never says to cover your hair. The parts of the Bible what God said down never said to cover your hair. God did not command women to do that. You can pray with your hair uncovered.
Mm-hmm.
Right? That's not a criteria. God never said it. There's no verse that came down where God said it.
You know, it's not just the Muslims that teach that. The Hebrew Israelites who don't have a religion but do have a religion.
Yeah.
They also taught me that I had to cover my head.
Yeah, but you don't have to cover your hair. We had hairstyles back then. We had the Levites wore pole-shaped haircuts, which is the mini fro, and the Nazarenes wore dreadlocks, you know, and we wore braids, different kinds of braids. That's what the Israelites wore back in the day. They're getting this teaching from Apostle Paul. That's where they're getting it from.
The Muslims are getting it from Paul?
The Muslims back in the day, they got it from the Roman Catholics. The head covering. Mm-hmm. They got it from Roman Catholics. Because the pale Arabs are kin to the Roman Catholics, kin to those type of white people. The light-skinned ones.
So, they're getting it from Paul.
Mm-hmm.
So it's in the Bible that a woman's supposed to cover her head?
It's in the Bible that a woman's supposed to cover her head. It's a Christian thing. Paul likes Christian thing. It has nothing to do with Jesus. It has nothing to do with Mary. It has nothing to do with any of the original disciples and those women. It started with Paul, right? And it's a Christian thing. It's not even a Muslim thing.
Is it a Christian thing? I mean, were even the earliest Christians covering their hair?
No, the earliest Christians, like, what do you mean? When you say Christians, are you talking about Jesus followers?
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus followers did not cover their hair.
Not to go into it too much, but you're saying they're getting this from Paul.
Yep.
And it's people might say, well, Paul's in the Bible, so shouldn't I be doing that?
No. Paul was a self-appointed disciple. He was the 13th disciple. He wasn't a part of the original 12 disciples. And he used to murder Jesus' followers. He is an antichrist. He was the big antichrist of that day and time. Mm-hmm. He was against Christ. All his teachings were antichrist.
Yeah.
That's what antichrist mean. You're against Christ.
Mm-hmm.
When Christ said something, he said, no, don't do it. He was totally against everything. He said, Christ said, don't eat pork. He said, eat pork. That's antichrist. Muslims adopted a lot of things from different cultures.
Okay.
And I can make a whole video about it. The prayer beads, they came from Roman Catholics. There's no such thing as a prayer bead in the
Muslims
Quran.
have prayer beads?
Yeah, some Muslims have little prayer beads. They count their prayers with little prayer beads.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah, it came from the Rosetta. You ever heard of it? What is it called?
Rosary beads. The rosary.
Yes, now Muslims got rosary beads. The head covering, rosary beads. Even when they cuff their hand like this, that comes from Hindus. Mm-hmm. Even when they do it like this, that comes from Hindus. A cuff hand means something. It means like you're gathering water from the deity. That comes from Hindu. That comes from Indian. The so-called Muslims, the Sunni Muslims, they got the hijab concept from the nuns. Right? Their head covering is the same as the nuns. Right? And the nuns got it from Paul. They really got it from two different places. They got it from Paul, and they got it from the Egyptian beehive type of wear. But that's a whole nother video. Here's a picture. It's the same thing as a hijab.
It looks just like a hijab.
Right. Right. Now I want to talk about the word hijab. The word hijab is in the Quran, but it has nothing to do with covering your hair. When it talks about covering, the real word is kimar. Kimar means any type of covering. It could be a curtain. It can be a rag. Any covering that you cover your body with. That's what kimar means. But hijab is written in the Quran. It talks about when it talks about God Almighty speaks behind a hijab, which is a curtain or a wall. The word hijab means curtain or wall, right? It has nothing to do with head covering. Right?
So they just took that word and made it something else?
Yes, they took the word and just made it some type of cliche for covering your hair, but it has nothing to do with a head covering. It's a wall. It's a curtain. God Almighty speaks from behind a hijab. A curtain, a wall, something that separates. Yeah. And even in the hadiths, I don't believe in hadiths, but even in the hadiths, hijab means curtain or wall. If a Muslim man come up to you and tell you, hey sister, to be Muslim you have to cover your hair, or if an Israelite man come up and say, cover your hair, sister, you tell him no. You tell him, show me in the scriptures where God said I have to cover my hair. You don't have to cover your hair doing prayer or anything. Now if you want to hold your hair back so it won't fall into your face when you're praying or whatever, you can do that, but it's not ordered. You're not gonna go to hell if you don't cover your hair. It's not more pious if you cover your hair, but you do supposed to cover your breast, cover your private parts, you know, and make sure everything is not jiggling and you're not displaying too much of your sexual organs to attract men, like lustfully. But cover your hair, you don't have to do that. It's not righteous or unrighteous. But if you want to cover your hair, that's your business.
Yeah, I cover my hair sometimes.
Yeah.
Because I like it. That's all.
Yeah, some people. Yeah, if you like it, that's your business. I'm not gonna hate on you if you do, but God didn't say you have to. So hijab has nothing to do with head covering. It's a curtain. It's a curtain. It's a wall. This wall right here is a hijab from the to the next room. Okay.
Thank you, Master Teacher KtronIslam.
No problem. Next subject. Let's get it.